We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Wow. Bad news. Teofimo Lopez goes on a long rant and says the other guys in his weight class and around his division that people want to see him fight haven't earned it, and he's becoming the face of boxing. He's the A side, yada, yada, yada. I'll read some direct quotes and talk about it right here in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Let's jump right into it. Now, Teofimo, he beat Lomachenko last October, I believe it was, October 2020, and he's kind of been on his high horse. We'll talk about some of the tweets and kind of inconsistencies that I've seen or heard from Teofimo. It was a good win, but he's had a lot to say. You know, starting with ESPN, they captured an interview where Teofimo says that a fight with him and Devin Haney, it'll start off as a technical fight, but in the mid rounds, I'll put him on his butt, right? And then he did another interview, and this is what he said. Quote, "My next fight is going to be with the fans, but I earned it. None of those guys get 50-50 with me. They get at least 60-40, and if they keep acting up, they'll get 70-30. But you know what? I love to make all these fights against the four kings happen. However, how am I going to give all this hard work that I did and give it to them because they think they were better than me? If you were better than me, you should have fought Lomachenko and beat him." And there's so many flaws with that statement. There's so many flaws. But I'm going to try to make it through the rest of Teofimo's quotes and come back to that. Teofimo says, "You didn't take the chance. Now you got to eat it. And if they don't understand that, I'm sorry, ladies and gents. That's just the way it goes. I earned my A side. They haven't. They haven't yet earned their A side. That's all I'm talking about. As long as they fight the top calibrated fighters in the division, then we could talk about okay. Even with Floyd Mayweather, everybody goes through the process. Everybody is eventually an A side, and then they become the A side. They're eventually the B side, and then they're the A side." He goes on to say, "I was the B side with Lomachenko, and now I'm the A side. I'm the king of the lightweight division. There ain't no four kings. There's only one king, Teofimo." And he's feeling himself. Couple more quotes, and then we'll talk. They fought other top fighters in their division, and then they fought afterwards. But they all agree on one thing, and he's talking about the Hagler era. He says, so when they bring up Marvin Hagler and all these other guys, they fight each other, but they earn their way to get there. They fought everyone, all the top fighters in their division. He goes on to say, "You got these belts and I got this, but I understand. I'm the B side on this part. Put your pride down, put your ego down, because all of that ish stink. Everybody has got their pride, but you got to put that ish to the side. Who the uck are they? I don't want them to lose. I want to be the one to make them lose. That's why I am who I am in this sport, but outside I'm the people's champion. I'm a champion for the people. I want to make these fights happen. It's just that these guys are mad and prideful. They really think they're up there, but I guarantee you they're broke. That's why they want to make these fights happen. They don't got that money yet. That's why look, man, the big news is coming. Big things are coming, and y'all got to see what happens. This is the takeover. This is real. We're becoming the face of the sport of boxing. We're taking over the sport. We're becoming the face of boxing. That's why I stay hungry. I know these guys are hungry. I look at it like this. I'm a lion. They're hyenas. They want to be a lion, but they can't. They don't step up to the plate. Show me something. I'm pressing on them. For those that say I'm a duck, I love you all. It's easier said than done. You haven't been in my shoes. I'll give you my shoes. You wouldn't even last a day in my shoes. Nobody. That's what I'm made of. That's who I am. End quote. Wow. Now that was kind of rough to get through. It was just a lot of incoherent rambling. The reason I'm saying what Teofimo is saying as rambling, because he's saying stuff is like a constant hot and cold. One minute he'll say, I want to fight the four kings. And then the next minute he says, they're not the four kings. Because the four kings, when we're talking about Hagler and Leonard and everybody, they all fought each other. So there ain't no king. I'm the king, right? So it's this constant tug of war with his own words, right? He's saying, I'm the people's champ. And I would love to make these fights happen with these guys. I'm the people's champ. I am a champion of the people, right? But then in the same interview, he's also saying these guys haven't done anything, and why should I sacrifice my hard work and give them an opportunity? So really, like, which one is it? You know, Teofimo, I don't know why he's doing this to himself with these types of rants. There's just so many things I could break down. You know, it's almost pointless to the inconsistencies that we're hearing from what Teofimo's saying. Like, for example, he said they've yet to earn their A side. That's all I'm talking about. As long as they fight the top caliber fighters in the division, then we could talk about that. Even with Floyd Mayweather, everybody goes through the process. So he's saying he's the A side. You fought Richard, I forgot his name right now, Comey, right? You fought Comey, and then you fought Lomachenko, who had 16 fights or so, and he had already lost to Salido. And now you feel you're bulletproof and invincible, and you're this high level, high horse A side, and nobody's even on your level. You know, I mean, this is, it sounds ridiculous, because fighters keep saying stuff about, like, first of all, here's another hot and cold thing. Teofimo spent some time in Mayweather's gym, like, you know, training in Vegas, you know, which is standard. A lot of people go to Mayweather's gym, but it's like he almost idolized Mayweather. That's how I kind of felt. And then I seen him start taking shots at Floyd, saying Floyd ruins his legacy by fighting Logan Paul, and that's disgusting. He wants to fight all these exhibitions and stuff like that. But then now he's trying to act like he's Floyd. He says even with Floyd, everybody goes through the process. So again, what is it? Like, which side are you on? The other flaw with that argument is Floyd was in the sport for like 22 years and highly decorated and accomplished, arguably TBE. You just beat Lomachenko recently, and that's literally your best win. And now you're saying that Lomachenko he's not even worth a rematch. So I can imagine Teofimo's behavior is probably off-putting and turning some people off. And it sucks because he's a good fighter, but he's just saying a lot of stuff like, again, how are you the people's champ and you're saying you're one for the people and nobody's on your level and all these other guys got to do stuff. But we all know that Bob Arum and Top Rank are trying to put together a fight. It's possibly going to a purse bid with you and George Kambosos. So when you say Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko rematch, Devin Haney, these guys are inadequate or they haven't done enough, then how are you going to fight George Kambosos? Again, this is a horrible look. This is like somebody who has a gremlin for a car, and he's talking about high-end sports cars, Lambos and Ferraris, and saying those cars are for broke people, but you're driving a Pinto, you're driving a gremlin. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. Like, George Kambosos is coming off of 2 split decision victories where you could argue he lost both of them, you know, if you watched the fight. And he's done just enough to make that fight go to purse bid and likely be your next fight. But Devin Haney, who has a belt, and that would clear up the confusion of the franchise and who's undisputed and things like that. And you're saying, nah, these guys haven't done enough. They're just mad and prideful. Then he started rambling and saying they don't got money like that. But Ryan Garcia, he's done shows with Kevin Hart He just did a sponsorship deal with Gatorade. I think he's the only boxer ever to have a Gatorade endorsement, right? So I'm pretty sure whether it's in boxing or outside of boxing, Ryan Garcia is doing well for himself, especially with these Gymshark and, endorsements and TV shows or whatever else, and Rihanna, Savage, Fenty, and all that. We already know Gervonta Davis is making money. His live gate was not far behind Canelo. He did 1.4 or something like that, and in a pandemic, so with a minimal crowd. So I know he's not really talking about Gervonta ain't making money. We see it. We see his lifestyle. We see the PJs. He flying PJs to go to Errol Spence fight and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then Teofimo, he might even be making the least out of all of them. To be, if we're really being honest, because we know Bob Arum didn't want to give him more than 1.25 million, and he's saying stuff like they don't got money like that. Like, it just sounds crazy. Devin Haney, look it up. Devin Haney fought on the KSI Logan Paul rematch card by Eddie Hearn in Rematch Room, and per the California State Athletic Commission, Devin Haney got $1 million for that fight. So on the books, that's what they said he's making. I don't know if he had any spiffs or, any additional things or endorsements or whatever, or property that he has, but that's just off of one fight. So he's doing $1 million, top rank. They wanted to give basically Teofimo, the first offer that they offered him was not too much more than that for a fake undisputed unification with Lomachenko. So it's just a lot of talk that I don't understand from Teofimo. Again, he keeps saying, I'm a lion, they're hyenas. Like, all this stuff sounds good, I'm the people's champ, and I want to fight him, and I want to stop him. But then he's also saying they got to do stuff. I'm becoming the face of boxing. It's a takeover. But it doesn't sound like he's going to fight him because he's kind of on the high horse type of thing. And the other flawed logic that I said I would revisit in this video is he's talking about, he's trying to act like he's Floyd, saying they'll get 60-40, and if they keep acting up, 70-30. Like, Gervonta just did over 1 million live gate, 1.5 million live gate without you. I think he'll be good. You know what I'm saying? And he's aligned with the side that has Chris Colbert. Leo Santa Cruz said he wants to rematch. I don't know who wants to see it, but, I'm just saying he has options. Javier Fortuna, right? Gary Russell Jr. I'm pretty sure Tank can make big fights without you. And he's talking about giving people 70-30. So I really don't like this behavior from a young champion off of the Lomachenko fight. And then if we're really being honest, I picked him to beat Lomachenko, and I was right. And I thought he actually won the fight. But he didn't Mayweather Canelo, Mayweather Gotti Lomachenko. Lomachenko was doing cool in this. It just took too long. You know what I'm saying? But Lomachenko was doing real good in certain rounds, like towards the end. So the way he's talking, he's making it sound like he 12-0'd, Lomachenko or something. And he's saying, hey, I'm gonna give all my hard work to da-da-da. And the part that I told you I would revisit, he says, I'm the A side because I was willing to take the risk and fight Lomachenko, right? It sounds good. All this stuff sounds good. He says, if you were better than me, you should have fought Lomachenko and beat him. That was a direct quote from Teofimo. But that's not even logical because it's just laughable. It's laughable. Devin Haney was the mandatory for Lomachenko, and then Top Rank and Team Lomachenko got with the WBC and put him in the witness protection program, aka made him a franchise champion, so he no longer had to fight that black fighter, Devin Haney. So for Teofimo, who I'm pretty sure knows this, and to say, hey, if you were better than me, you should have fought Lomachenko and beat him, then that means he's acting completely oblivious to obvious politics that clearly plague this sport of boxing. You can pretend you don't see what goes on in the sport of boxing and the politics. It just so happens Lomachenko is a top-ranked fighter. Bob Arum does business like he wants to do business. He doesn't necessarily partner with other people unless that suits his fancy. And you were privy to that. You were with Top Rank. They needed a fight and you got it. But let's not act and pretend like there were no politics involved. You know, Mayweather has Gervonta Davis, and Mayweather left Top Rank. He bought himself out of his contract. So again, those fights become harder to make based on obvious politics. Mayweather Promotions, they might not want to work with Top Rank to make Gervonta versus Lomachenko, especially when Floyd in past interviews said Bob Arum still owes him money, right? Devin Haney, he got fronted off with the whole franchise champion. So for just a generic blanket statement like these politics don't exist, you know, like Ryan Garcia is not on DAZN and Lomachenko's on ESPN, it's not as simple as all these guys in the lightweight division should have fought Lomachenko. Now, beyond sides of the street and co-promotional, you know, hurdles that have to be overcome to make a Lomachenko fight, we all know that Lomachenko, there was clever matchmaking. He didn't fight guys like Mikey Garcia when that fight was right there and the fans were craving it. So it would have to be a fight that Top Rank liked. Henceforth, probably why the Devin Haney fight didn't happen. So, you know, Teofimo probably should take it down a couple notches because he's like, hey, I'm better. I'm the A side. You should have fought Lomachenko. But again, this is politics. It's not that simple. You know, it's not that simple. Like there's businesses and sides of the streets, and you know, I'm not gonna bore you guys with some of the same details I already told you. But yeah, Teofimo, he's kind of on his own with some of this. And all in all, we all know real boxing fans feel all those guys, Ryan, Gervonta, Devin Haney, etc., are bigger fights that people are willing to pay to see. And you're saying I earned my A side and these other dudes haven't. But George Kambosos, he's earned his side. Oh, let me guess, it's because he's a mandatory. Once again, this is becoming the cliche thing in boxing. When Triple G's mandatory is Charlo, the fight doesn't happen. When Canelo's mandatory is Charlo, the fight doesn't happen. A fight that people would love and pay to see and pay on pay-per-view if need be, blah, blah, blah. When Canelo's mandatory is Avni Yildirim off a 2-year layoff and a loss, you know, and people feel he has no chance to win, that mandatory happens. Or Triple G last fight, Camille Sesmeta, a guy with 5 knockouts, that mandatory can mysteriously happen. Now you have George Kambosos off of 2 split decisions that he arguably lost his last fight with Lee Selby and even the Mickey Bay one. And conveniently, that mandatory is allowed to happen. But Teofimo, you know, I guess he doesn't see this. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comments section. We unpack.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.